Hi there, English warriors! I'm Teacher Julie. Today, our lesson focuses on various textual aids that may be used in understanding texts. This highlights the importance and use of textual aids in making information presentation more comprehensive and understandable for readers. So, let's begin our adventure! To start with, let's play a game. Can you guess it to win it? Let's see. I will show you a picture and you will guess what it is. Don't worry, I will give you scrambled letters that will serve as your clue to identify the picture. Are you ready? Let's go! Here's our first picture. If you answered line graph, you're correct. Great job! Next picture. Did you answer Venn diagram? That is right! Wow! Third picture. It is a flowchart. Did you guess it right? Next picture. I hope you answered table. You're doing great! Let's see the next picture. Did you say bar graph? Fantastic! Next picture. The answer is pie graph. Next. Well, it's pretty obvious that it's a fishbone diagram. How about the next picture? Did you already make an infographic? How about the next one? Yes, obviously it's a pictograph. Did you try making one before? You might get hungry in this next picture. It has introduction, supporting details, and conclusion. This is an easy one. It's a hamburger writing graphic organizer. Are you right? I hope you got a perfect score. And what do we call them? They are textual aids. If you're not too familiar with that term, let's see what it means. Textual aids are educational instruments like graphic organizers and nonlinear illustrations. Textual aids simplify comprehension of texts. They also use graphical outlines or images that give the general idea of the topic. And some examples of simple textual aids that can be used by anyone easily are underlining, bolding, highlighting, and italicizing. Now let's differentiate linear text from nonlinear text. A linear text is a traditional text that needs to be read from beginning to end to make sense of the text. Examples of linear texts are short stories, novels, and letters. On the other hand, a nonlinear text is not required to be read from beginning to end, since its reading path is non-sequential. I repeat, it's non-sequential. Examples of nonlinear texts are graphic organizers, concept maps, diagrams, and charts. Now let's see the different kinds of nonlinear text. First is cause and effect diagram. This diagram emphasizes the connection between the different concepts and is sometimes called as the beneficial organizer since it can be applied to all subject areas. This is more known as the fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. The root cause of the problem should be written on the head, while its effects should be written on the bones. Next is a flowchart. This is a sequence chart that shows series of events in order. The arrows in the flowchart signify the flow of events or details. If you have a concept that has steps such as process or sequence, The flowchart is the applicable textual aid organizer. Another one is a Venn diagram. This is used to identify, classify, categorize, and recognize similarities and differences of two or more subjects, ideas, thoughts, or concepts. It is also the most commonly used textual aid. This instructional tool can be found in teacher resource materials, examinations, handouts, etc. Another kind is graphic organizer. This is a visual display that has key content information. This textual aid provides learners with structure for abstract concepts. These are usually created and designed for those who have trouble organizing information and thoughts. Other forms of non-textual information include concept map, spider map, sensory observation chart, line graph, bar graph, pie graph, pictograph, and other related images. Now, we're going to learn how to transcode linear to non-linear text and vice versa. Transcoding linear to nonlinear text and vice versa is a skill that one has to be familiar with, since it can be used in our everyday lives. There will be times when you would have to transcode a linear text to nonlinear text to make it easier for other people to understand it, and a nonlinear text to nonlinear text to have a detailed description of a certain topic. To transcode a linear text to nonlinear text, follow these simple steps. First, read the text and get the main idea. In this linear text, the main idea is sharks and whales are a classic example of two different animals revealing similar traits in the same environment. The second step is extract necessary information for the visual presentation. Third step, remember to use keywords or phrases only. That's why from long sentences, you can just get the important words from them. Fourth step, classify information into categories. In this linear text, we can see that sharks and whales have similarities. They also have differences. Fifth and last step, make sure to use the correct non-linear text to present the information. Since this linear text talks about differences and similarities of sharks and whales, can you identify the appropriate non-linear text we can use for this? If you answered Venn diagram, you're right! Wow! This is the correct non-linear text to use in presenting the information because it talks about differences and similarities of two concepts. This time, let's know how to transcode non-linear text to linear text. Our non-linear text in this example is a pie graph. Now, we're going to transcode this non-linear text to linear text. And these are the simple steps we can follow. Step number 1. Look at the details of the graphic organizer, chart, or diagram carefully. Look at the nonlinear text, the title, and the details. These will help us understand what we are going to write. Step number 2. Get only the gist, the most important details or summary of the information. In this pie chart, we can see that the highest percentage goes to the front cover and who's on it. It is followed by the celeb gossip and the stories and reviews, while the title has the lowest percentage. Step number 3. Write what the diagram is about and your interpretation based on the given information. Let's take a look at this example. The first part of the paragraph talks about the title. It does not necessarily mean that you have to copy exactly what the title is. You can rephrase it to make it better. For example, instead of saying what stands out for you when you buying a music magazine, we can rephrase it to what many of the readers look for when buying a magazine. We also need to include the results of the nonlinear text. How does the writer know what many of the readers look for is bands they like and something eye-catching with colors and intriguing fonts as a front cover, followed by what is to be included in the content? It's because the results are shown in the pie chart. And we should not forget the conclusion in our interpretation, because it will reveal how we understood the nonlinear text. It's just a piece of cake, right? And here are the references. I hope you'll remember the difference between linear and nonlinear texts. That's all for today, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more video lessons.